Hello and welcome to Cracking the Cryptic. A while ago I featured a Sudoku from a test published by Logic Masters India, which was a really good test. They tend to provide slightly easier tests than the Sudoku Grand Prix from the World Puzzle Association. And at the time I said I couldn't see that they'd made the test available, but they've been in touch and quite rightly pointed out that they have an archive of the various tests they've had in the past, and this is it here. I'm going to provide a link. It's a really fabulous resource, I have to say. You can filter it down to just Sudoku tests, and I mean there are tons of these available. There's passwords provided in case of the ones that were for competitions and needed passwords, and there's just loads of these. So today I've gone into one of them somewhat at random and chosen a classic Sudoku. Now this was the hardest classic Sudoku in the particular test that I called up. It was worth 7 points out of 100 maximum in the test, and I think that was over 90 minutes. So if you are hoping to finish the whole of this Logic Masters India test and forgetting any time for actually entering some solutions, you'd expect to be doing this puzzle in 7% of 90 minutes, which is, I reckon, about 6 minutes and 20 seconds. That's what they're kind of giving experts for this puzzle. It's a very nicely laid out puzzle. Look at the 4 diagonals of numbers, and 3 of them are quite interesting diagonals. We've got the odd digits coming down the first one, then 9, 8, 7, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 important sequences down the second one, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 down the third one. So that's a really neat bit of constructing, I would say. But anyway, leaving all that aside, I'm just going to have a go at it and see how we do, maybe learn some of the normal techniques for solving puzzles. So ones down the middle give us some possible ones down there, and the same down here because of that 1 and that 1. Nines, even better. We've got that 9 and that 9, so 9 goes in one of these, and that one tells us which one. Maybe I'll put the pencil mark 9s in up there along with some 1s. 1s again there. It's a bit like 1s are really providing almost enough information. Now 2s as well as 1s down here, and that means we've got a 1-2 pair down here, which is quite a powerful setup normally because it rules out these 3 cells from consideration for anything in this box. Not that helpful yet, but I expect it will be in due course. 7s there, 2s up there. There's quite a lot of digits. Right, 7 and 7. This is giving us another digit we can place. That leaves us down to these cells, and that 7 decides where the 7 goes in this box. And we can get another pair of 7s in there. The 9s are limited to there, 3s to there. What about 8s? They don't operate on the centerpiece at all at the moment. That's unfortunate. Sorry, that 9 I put in should have been a full digit, as I was explaining, rather than in the corner. And this cell has now become a naked single with the placement. Actually, it was all the time. 9, 6, 3 in its row, 5, 2, 7 in its column, 4, 8 in its box. That has to be a 1. And that's fixing our 2 1s that we had uncertain. That's resolved this 9 pair. That's the value of the pencil marking. We can spot that immediately. So we can pencil mark 9s in there. That's resolved 9s in the central box. Again, the pencil marking comes into its own very quickly. That resolves the 2s. We can get rid of that 9, and this is now a 3-8 pair. So we don't know which way around they go. This can't be a 5, so there's a 5 over here. and that means this is a 5, which we could have worked out by looking at those two 5s operating on this box. That's going to put a 5 down on the right hand side here. And as I say, you know, despite this being the highest value classic Sudoku on the test, it's really not too hard to get into at all. We've made very quick progress on a number of fronts, and I think there'd be many other ways of approaching the puzzle generally. Let's see if we do get stuck at some point. Just trying to look for something else at the moment that'll keep us going. Ah, yeah, 9 here and here. Combined with that 9 into this box on the left gives us a 9 in this cell. 5, 7, 8s are a bit restricted there. No, but there aren't many 6s. 6s are, because of these two 6s, the only two in the grid, are a bit limited at the top. 5s, no, not really. Just trying to find somewhere else to get a little breakthrough going. Not quite as straightforward as I'd hoped, I have to say. 9, 1, 2, 3, 8. Right, then, okay, where can a 5 go in column 3? Well, we've ruled out these 3 cells with this pair we've put in. That 5, that 5, and that 5 operate on 3 of the remaining unfilled cells. So the only place for a 5 is at the top. And I think that is going to get us going. That 5 works out that 6 pair. We've got a 5 down here somewhere, although we're not certain which one yet. Up in this box, we've now got 9, 5, 8, 1, 2. So we can put 7s in one of those 2. 3s must now be in this column because of that 3 and that 3, and we can therefore place a 3 in one of those 2 cells. These remaining 3 cells in this column, where is a 7? Look at that 7 and that 7, that's ruling out that cell and that cell. So 7 must be in the middle there. And that means we have 4 and 6 to go in those 2, but I don't know which way around yet, so that has, I thought that was going to break us open, but it hasn't quite. This 9 has resolved this 9 pair, didn't spot that for a while. 8 must be over this side. I'm tempted to fill those in as a possible 8, but I'm not actually sure if that would help anything. 9, 5, 8, 1, 2. Yeah, it's not all that easy, this puzzle. It's, you know, we're making progress, but we're not actually getting anything completed. Still haven't completed one full box or row or column yet. And maybe still an insight required before we're really done with this. 6 is restricted to one of those 2 cells by that one. So if 6 was there, no, it doesn't really help. Oh, I just feel like we're nearly done, but not quite. 6 in one of those 2. But 2 could still be in any of these 3, unfortunately. 2, 1, 3, 7, 6, 5. It's just a bit too much freedom, especially with 8s, I think, at the moment. 4 is restricted to those 2 because of that 4 and that 4. 3 is restricted to those offsetting 2, but unfortunately 6 and 8 don't have such limitations on them and could be almost anywhere within the box. Yeah, can't just be sure of which is which there. Now if 6 was here in this column where it only has 2 possibilities, that, stop it, that would put 6 there. 6 would end up having to be here because there'd be a 6th there. That's all quite possible. 6 would be here, here, and here. That is a possible array of the remaining 6s, unfortunately, and that means that can't actually make any further progress by assuming that. What I'd like that to do is prove that it's impossible, but it's kind of creating a logic chain just in the hope that it would produce something, and that's a bit random. Ah, okay, here, this cell, hadn't noticed this one. Yeah, look, this one pair has been disambiguated, probably has been for a while, and I should have spotted that. That gives us a 1, 3. This cell is in fact now a naked single, which was what I spotted a moment ago. That is getting rid of quite a few of our possibilities. In fact, there's now only one space left for a 3 here. It's here, and that's giving us a 6 over here, and now I think we really have got some progress. This is 4 because there's 5 and 8 in its column already. That's a 5, 8 pair, putting a 4 here. These are 6 and 8. We know which way around they are. That's now fixed as a 2, and we're really making progress now. So, you know, just a bit of a sticking point, and that's entirely because having done a fair amount of computation, I just wasn't noticing something that I had effectively disambiguated but wasn't picking up. And that's often the problem with getting a Sudoku finished, is you're just not spotting the key thing. Although you've done enough work to identify it, you haven't identified it, and therefore it takes a little while. I think the rest of this is all fairly straightforward. Do just pause the video if you're not sure why I'm putting a number in somewhere, because there will be a very clear reason, normally from it having been eliminated within its row or column by the time I'm just filling it in while still talking to you. And you know, it's a fairly straightforward puzzle in the end, but just a little bit of stickiness at the start. I don't think there's any reason why, you know, a decent solver would ever be over 6 minutes for that. And I'd hope on paper in competition to be knocking it out in about 5, but bit of a delay there in the solving. Be interested to know how that went for you. And as I say, do have a look at that Logic Masters India website. It really got a lot of good tests in it. If you're especially interested in seeing how you would do at a sit-down test over some time, you will probably need a printer to solve these puzzles. They're not available like ours are, but obviously I've made today's puzzle available in our software. Do feel free to subscribe if you're enjoying the content on the channel. This was a bit of an easier respite from some of the more difficult puzzles we've been showing in the last day or two. And obviously do head over to Patreon, where we've got a new puzzle up this month as well. So if you're a sponsor on Patreon, you'll be able to do that. It's quite a tough one over there, I'll have to admit. And thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you again soon on Cracking the Cryptic. Bye.